Testing 1 2 3. Yo YouTube, what's up? Supabounce here, and today we're gonna be bringing you guys a live balance update, live on all platforms. Let's talk about the meta coming in from the devs themselves on Reddit. They actually gave us a patch preview of what they're going to be showing us for the upcoming season 1 stuff. So let's talk about it. And I'm gonna give you guys my opinion on it, and you know what they're gonna do with the game, what this patch brings for everybody. You know, Apex for the win, right? So let's go ahead and start off. First off, we know you folks are fired up for Season 1 and Battle Pass. We still have work to do to get everything ready for prime time, and won't be talking about it yet. Blah, blah, blah. Most of them, they're just talking about how they're getting ready to start and launch Season 1. So the way they want to do their balancing apparently is by, you know, obviously listening to the community and learning from what day 1 people have done, and, you know, what day, like, 30 people have done, like what day 1 people and then what day 30 people know. So like for instance, Bamboozle is obviously a lot easier to see now at this point in time for, you know, Apex Legends and whatnot. And they also said we didn't want to make any hasty changes around launch because we know a ton of players are still learning the game, with lots of new legends dropping it every day. You know, once again with the week 1 meta versus the week 2, and you know, I mean, everybody in the game week 1 we were all rocking like Mozambiques. You know, we didn't really know what was going on, but you know, they were looking at it and it's all balancing out, and they're looking into that. So that's pretty cool. I'm kind of happy that they're not just like throwing patches in and just kind of like screwing it up, which is, you know, they're taking their time, and I like that a lot. So we have a thing, weapon balance. Overall, we feel that the current weapons present solid options for a variety of gameplay styles. We found that Skull Piercer Wingman, the Wingman, obviously, you know, in my opinion, has always been one of the strongest guns in the game. And I feel like it should be nerfed a little bit. You know, its fire rate is ridiculously fast for a pistol or a magnum, if anything. Like when you think of a magnum, you don't just shoot it as fast as a pistol is in some cases. And you know, 45 damage, it outshines the longbow by like miles, and it's a rough gun. You know, and they even said our adjustments are attempting to move it more into the hand cannon space and away from the full auto deagle. We've also adjusted the rate of fire for the Peacekeeper Shotgun bolt attachment, so players will have a larger window of vulnerability if they miss their shot. So basically, Peacekeepers with level 3 bolts won't be as... There will be a consequence for missing your shots with a Peacekeeper. You can't just spam with it, you know, unless you know you're an EVA guy, then obviously you can just, you know, have fun and spam away. But honestly, this nerf to the Peacekeeper I didn't think was so great. Like it didn't really affect me that much. I like the Peacekeeper a lot. I think it's a great gun, but you know, there are times where I will hit for 100 and then I'll hit for 8, and I'm just like, what the hell? What's going on? GG's. But that happens a lot to me. But I think, you know, this is like a decent nerf to the Peacekeeper to try to keep it in line, because, you know, a lot of people rock the Peacekeeper. It's a good gun, once again. And then obviously the Wingman. So these are the nerfs we got going on for the Wingman and the Peacekeeper. So, Wingman, rate of fire reduced from 3.1 to 2.6 shots per second. So we got a slower fire rate for the Wingman. That's going to help a lot against, you know, guys who just tend to spam in front of you with the Wingman, especially in your face or at long distance if you're trying to snipe. It's just so hard to beat a Wingman sometimes because it puts so much pressure long range and close range. I mean, 45 a shot and then like 101 a headshot with a Skull Piercer. It's ridiculous. Right below that we have Skull Piercer headshot damage multiplier reduced from 2.5 to 2.25. Now, I played some games today. I know the weapon patch went live, so obviously these are already going down. But the Skull Piercer with the Wingman, I noticed only did 75 damage. I think that's what my one of my friends said that. So you go from like 101 to 75. I don't really know where the math kicks in for this, but yeah. So that's pretty cool. Happy about that. A little bit nerf on the, you know, spam in front of you, and then last but not least, we have increased base hipfire spread, and decreased the rate at which hipfire spread decays, shrinks back down. So this basically is saying that the when you hipfire with the Wingman, it's gonna be a little more of a random shots everywhere instead of it being more accurate in where its crosshair is going to be. So that's kind of a nice little nerf as well. You know, there'd be a lot of times where I get into a close quarter combat with somebody, they have a Wingman, and I'm already saying, oh my god, they're just going to spam hipfire in front of me. And that is exactly what happens every time, and they just kind of like melt me down, and it's really, really rough to beat a Wingman. Testing this out today, playing on my stream, yeah, it was still pretty strong. The hipfire wasn't as consistent. I think I only won a couple of hipfire fights. I eventually started just going aim down sights more instead of focusing on trying to get those random RNG hipfire shots. So that's pretty good. Overall, I'm very happy with the Wingman nerfs. I think it's really good. Keep it up. Respawn, good job on that. You know, I always complain about the Wingman, and I use it a lot too. I mean, it's a very strong gun, probably if not the strongest gun in the game. So that's good. That's good. I'd like to see that. Now we got the Peacekeeper. Shotgun bolt rechamber rate has been reduced for the Peacekeeper only the Peacekeeper. So Eva, Mozambique, Kappa is obviously not affected by it. Level 1 is going to give you 10%. Oh, it's going to go from 10% to 7.5%, not 75. That'd be ridiculous. Level 2 is going to give you from 20% from what it was to 13, and level 3 used to be 25, which is now 16. So 25 to 16 is a pretty big jump. You're basically running a level 2 bolt at level 3, so I think that's pretty cool too. I honestly, like I said, I didn't really complain too much about the Peacekeeper, whether I had a bolt or not. You know, I just used it for close quarter combat whenever I needed it. And that was pretty much it for that. But I think this will be pretty good. Using it today on my stream, I didn't really see anything different. I mean, it just felt like a shotgun to me. Just, you know, be a little more careful with your shots, I suppose. Try to land every shot instead of just spam it. All right, another thing, this kind of like, I looked at this. It's basically, so Wingman and Peacekeeper availability has been reduced in all zone tiers. I like the idea, but at the same time, I like the idea, but at the same time, it makes me feel like I'm obligated to use the Wingman or Peacekeeper whenever it pops up. Like, oh, I have to have the Wingman or the Peacekeeper because it's a more rare gun. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. And then there'll be times where, oh crap, well this guy had the Wingman. I don't know what to do. I didn't have a Wingman. And at the same time, it's a yay or a nay for me. I can't really tell you. But I think it's interesting. It's interesting. We'll see where it goes. So basically, if you didn't know, Wingman and Peacekeeper has a lower chance of spawning in all areas of the game. So it's gonna be a little harder to find a Wingman or a Peacekeeper. And we also have an increased availability of energy weapons and ammo in all zone tiers. That's gonna be good. You know, I always complain in my videos about how the energy weapons are very good. They're nice to have, but we never have enough ammo for them, or we never can find them. So that's gonna be awesome. We're probably gonna see a lot more energy weapons pop up. I love the Havoc. You know, the triple take is like a secondary shotgun, and then, you know, the Devotion is, I mean, the Devotion is like a Spitfire on roids. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. So I'm happy to see that. Really am. All right, so Mozambique and P2020 didn't get buffs. Personally, I feel like the P2020 and the Mozambique are just early game weapons. Pick them up ASAP and then just drop them off afterwards, you know? I feel like that's what they are. So they're not really that important, I feel like. But it's always nice to have them, you know? Mozambique, plus the memes are pretty funny. So I think they did okay with that. P2020 and Mozambique not getting a buff is okay, because they're just weapons you just want to drop ASAP, especially what they say here. While other weapons on the bottom of the power curve are your early game, better than melee, but gotta upgrade out of ASAP weapons. So, you know, that's good. I feel like that's pretty much how it is. They want to have their early game weapons, their middle or I guess modded weapons middle game, and then late game you have everything modded up and ready to roll out with your in-game weapons. I feel like that's a pretty good way to put it. We've seen some good feedback from players about how to make these pistols more exciting without losing out on the goal above that we're listening to. And they said they'll be continuing to watch player data and feedback and try things out internally, but for now, they'll remain the same. So I personally don't mind it at all. I think it's pretty good. They also fixed some issues with people being dropped from matches. You know, disconnects are like the bane of this game right now. Everybody disconnects, or your friends disconnect, or you disconnect. Then your whole team's just left with like a duo squad or a solo squad, you know. So it's good that they're taking care of that and they're looking deep into that. I'm very happy to see that. So that's good to know, good to know. So this is like one of the biggest topics of the game. It's addressing legend balance and hitbox feedback. So our goal is to be able to have our characters with different rig sizes, hitboxes, and ability kits, and still have each character be roughly equal in power level, win rate, and viability of pick. So in this little paragraph of theirs that they explain, they talk about how the small and medium characters are pretty good. Like the win rates are decent and they're not bad at all. But they also talked about our large character rigs, however, are underpowered, and their natural size appears to be their largest contributor. We're planning on adjusting the size of the large character hitboxes to better fit the model. If these changes are insufficient to bring these characters in line, we're also considering a range of other changes such as natural damage reduction as well as individual kit power tweaks. I like that. I like that. I'm very happy to see that they're doing something about Gibraltar. They're doing something about Caustic. You know, the community loves these two guys. We want to play them, but you're gimping yourself if you play them. You know, I mean, if you're gonna get into a firefight with a Wraith as Gibraltar, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a high chance that you're already weakening yourself because you have a bigger hitbox, and it's kind of hard to deal with that. So, maybe the hitboxes being a better fit and with a model will be good. And you know, if that doesn't work, then hopefully, you know, maybe, well, I'm hoping the hitbox change will be a good thing for them. And if they have to, man, you know, maybe a little bit extra health or something like that for them. Because, you know, I love Gibraltar. I really do. But there are some days when I get into a firefight, I just get melted instantly. It's ridiculous, man. Same with Caustic, too. Even though everybody hates his poison. So, and in their last little bit, they say, overall, we want to try and increase the power level of large rig characters before we consider large nerfs to everyone else. While we've made small adjustments, we're hopeful that increasing the power of large rigs is healthier than nerfing everyone else. So I'm glad to see that. So, they're talking about Season 1 adjustments for the Legends. Hitbox size reduction, which we already talked about. And then these are some actual minor changes to the Legends themselves. So Caustic is actually getting a buff. I'm happy to see that. I might start playing him more now. Traps have a cooldown decreased to 25 instead of 30. Also, increased radius and proximity of the radius. Increased radius and proximity of his poison by 10%. So, or his traps. So they're 10% bigger, I suppose, when they trigger. And remove 1 second delay on the smoke dealing damage to players. So once you hit that trap, it's going to start hurting you immediately, which is kind of cool. I'm happy to see that. Nice to see some Caustic upgrades. He's a really interesting character. He's really fun. He may gimp your team a lot, but I mean, he's still a lot of fun, guys. I like him a lot too. My friend plays him all the time, so. All right, Pathfinder, not a very big change. You know, you're going from 12 beacons to 10. That's basically like his passive where he can identify where the next zone's going to be. That's nothing crazy. Lifeline care package. I think this is a pretty big one. Remove slight chance that level 4 armor and helmets will drop. So I'm guessing that it says removed slight chance, meaning they just removed any chance of level 4 armor and helmets being dropped. I guess that was kind of like a pretty strong thing for Lifeline, since, you know, her ult is dropping like care packages for a team. That beats me. I don't know. I mean, I play Lifeline, I love her to death, but, you know, she's just a healer, right, Kappa? Alright, so Wraith, Into the Void, cooldown increased from 20 seconds to 25, so you're going from a 5-second increase to her next time she can Into the Void, which is her Q. Wraith's always, like, a lot of people talk about Wraith's, like, Q being bad, but it's honestly not that bad in my opinion. I think it's pretty good, personally. Good for escape and whatnot, and I think I've seen multiple Wraiths use them in multiple fights, so I think this is a pretty good nerf. Last but not least, we got Bangalore. Bangalore's getting a little nerf as well. Double time, reduced move speed bonus from 30 to 40. So, Bangalore getting a little nerf there. Bangalore, in my opinion, is the strongest champion in the game. I mean, she has smoke, she has movement speed, she has a good CC, like, make some time for your team ult. I think she's a very all-around, very good character. Hitbox isn't as big as Gibraltar's. I think this is a nice little nerf to her, honestly. I mean, there would be times where I fight a not Gibraltar, but a Bangalore, and she's out of there. She's gone. She's dipped. Dipset. Out of here. Nada. Gone forever. So I think this will be a nice little nerf, and I think it also kind of complements to the next champion, Octane, because he gets a ability where when he hurts himself, he gets like 30% movement speed for like 6 seconds or something. I forgot. But that's it for the patch notes, guys. I tried to talk about it as fast as I could. We appreciate all the feedback, and please keep it coming. As you are playing these changes, let us know how they feel. We'll be around for a while for questions. So, yeah. It's a pretty interesting patch. Not all of it's in fruition yet. There's a lot of things that they have to do, but they did upload the gun patches, and I will say this. The Wingman does not feel... The Wingman is still strong, I feel like. The Peacekeeper, I don't even see a difference. But the Wingman, took me about 2 or 3 games to adjust the way it was, and I'm just back in there again, shooting the crap out of people. I'm ADSing more. I'm not hip firing as much, but definitely the Wingman is still strong. It's getting there though. It's getting to the point where I feel like it's a little more balanced. But once again, I'm still getting like three Wingmans on me. It's rough. 3 Wingmans on me is rough.